For today's deep dive into the text, we're going straight into the absolute center of one of history's most epic, complex stories ever told, the Mahabharata. Just picture the scene for a second. The drums of war are literally echoing, the air is just thick with tension, and you've got the world's most formidable armies standing right face to face. But right in the middle of this deafening roar, there's this massive, profound philosophical question that stops everything in its tracks. We're going to explore the original source material to see how the absolute brightest light of true wisdom actually shows up in our darkest, most difficult moments. Buckle up, because this analysis might just completely change the way you look at things. Okay, let's dive into this. The battlefield of Kurukshetra is totally set. Arjuna, the absolute greatest, most invincible warrior of his time, is right there on his chariot. But here's the catch. When he looks across the front lines, he doesn't see a faceless enemy. He sees his own family. Uncles, grandfathers, teachers, cousins. According to our text, in this exact moment, seeing his relatives just hits him with this overwhelming sense of grief and delusion. I mean, his legendary bow, the Gandiva, literally starts slipping from his trembling hands. Now think about that for a second. Why does a warrior who has trained his entire life for this exact moment suddenly break down? Well, it wasn't fear of the battle itself. It was this swirling vortex of relationships and heavy emotions that completely clouded his judgment. And this is exactly where the story takes a really sharp turn. This brings us to Kurukshetra's moral dilemma, the incredibly heavy burden of war and family. Now, when a person is just completely broken down like that, they need the ultimate guide to show them the way out. So let's look at the meaning of the first teaching, Lord Krishna's timeless wisdom. Listen really closely to the exact words from our source text here. Ashochan anvashoshosvam, prajnavadansh bhashase, gata sun agata sunscha, nanu sochanti panditaha. Now, this isn't just some ordinary sentence, okay? It's a profound paradox that Lord Krishna is exposing right to Arjuna's face. He's essentially saying, hey, you're mourning for people who really aren't worthy of mourning, and yet you're standing there speaking words of great wisdom. It's kind of fascinating, isn't it? Actually, scratch that. It's brilliant. Because we do the exact same thing in our own lives all the time. We use our logic and intellect to justify our actions. But those actions are actually just driven by our own blind attachments. Krishna's totally calling him out, exposing the false wisdom that was the root cause of Arjuna's sorrow. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly what true wisdom is, according to Lord Krishna. The text makes it super clear who a wise man or a true scholar actually is. It's not just someone who's memorized a bunch of books. No, a truly wise person is someone who mourns neither for the living nor for the dead. Now, I know that sounds a little harsh at first, right? But the science behind this is incredibly deep. Krishna is basically explaining that a person who truly grasps the real nature of life and death never lets their intellect get all polluted by grief. They just accept the reality of the present moment exactly as it is, without any of that emotional contamination dragging them down. So, let's step right into the core philosophical foundation of this whole teaching. We're looking at the soul, the body, and duty, taking a huge step toward the ultimate truth. So, the crucial point is this really simple but absolutely powerful contrast. On one side of the coin, we have the ultimate truth. The soul is immortal. Absolutely no weapon can cut it. No fire can burn it. But then on the other side, we have our physical reality. The body is mortal. A body is born and its death is absolutely 100% certain. So Lord Krishna is basically asking Arjuna, what exactly are you crying over here? You literally cannot save what is destined to be destroyed, meaning the physical body, and there's absolutely no way you can kill what is eternal, the soul. Once you really internalize that fundamental truth, suddenly grieving over a mortal body becomes, completely illogical. All right, so the final and honestly most energizing takeaway from this entire breakdown gives us two crystal clear directives. First up, completely abandon delusion and grief. Why? Because they're just born from illusion. They literally only serve to make you weak. And second, fulfill your duty. According to the text, this is the highest dharma, the absolute ultimate purpose of a human being. When you finally clear out the anxiety of who's going to live and who's going to die, you're finally free to fully concentrate on the exact duty you need to perform right in that moment. For Arjuna, that meant doing his job as a warrior to protect righteousness, leaving his attachments at the door and completely letting go of the results. Ultimately, this ancient text isn't just giving us a history lesson. It maps perfectly onto our lives today. Because let's be real, the battlefield of Kurukshetra is happening inside all of us right now. We're all tied down by some attachment, some outcome we're obsessed with, or some hidden fear. So ask yourself this right now. Is your own personal grief or attachment stopping you from doing what you're actually supposed to do? Are you stuck, just like Arjuna was, paralyzed because you're missing the bigger picture?